Greetings, good morning. Let's go ahead and salute. This is going to be fast and sweet, I hope. I trust. We don't use the word hope. Hope equals fear, and fear equals hope. They're both four-letter words. Think about it. Yeah, I should do maybe that's what I'll talk about today. No, another time. Yeah, it'll be woven in. Yes, hope is hopeless and is based in fear, and fear is based in hope. They feed on each other. All right. Go ahead and salute yourself, fellow travelers, the space you're inhabiting, all the things that assisted you this morning to get here, the food, other people's talents, your will, God's will. Go ahead and salute your breath. The ever-present reminder of this death and life and everything in between. And see if you can expand the in-between space. In your own way, go ahead and come back into relative consciousness. I would like just to have a really quick, sobering conversation with you. Well, this is my salute to menfolk. It's a dickhead, pencil dick. Just to speak to the last weekend's Women's March. And this is my sort of commentary on that whole trip. So this is a salute to menfolk. This is my dickhead. What do you want? Jobs? Where do you climb? Blowjobs? Touch it! I want you to touch my dick! Crew members, really. It's not my place to comment on what you do or don't do, but more as from a vantage point of a hawk, or from the relatively spiritual perspective. There is a deep wounding in what is considered sacred feminine, as well as the sacred masculine. And this is a big topic that I can't get into in my 15-20 minute spiel on Sundays, but I would rather, what I can offer you today is a reflection on what you take so seriously and the reality of where we live, the time we're living, and the amazing grace and blessings and opportunities that we have that I believe we take for granted. I mean, quite frankly, we live in a place where you can order something, you can order a pillow from Amazon and have it delivered the next day. We're in a place where there really isn't a lot of bad happening, and there's a lot of chaos, and there's a lot of violence. But when you measure it up against other places, we don't have it so bad. So I wonder if we're trying to create problems when there's really no problems. Like this, there seems to be a real challenge for people to accept when things are actually functioning. Right? Now, mind you, I'm not speaking specifically just to secular. I'm speaking to like this predilection to project a lot of our internal struggles onto the world around us. Now, I'm asking you to reflect on this, and I'm sure I'm pissing somebody off. Not a problem. You can turn this off. But we have now reached a level of indulgence that is laughable, right? I mean, women, quite frankly, have not a lot of problems in this country. I'm sorry. And I think there's some guilt around that. But instead of protesting this situation, you need to look somewhere else, ladies. Seriously. Now, I can speak like a sailor, okay? But even as I get older, I see, and I become more, what do you say, reflective on that being not necessarily a healthy thing anymore. There is nothing feminine around raging about all your physical functions, around the righteousness, around any of it. It's despicable, actually. You know, liberation is not about being able to do anything you want. Liberation is not about talking about everything openly. There's nothing liberating about that. It's childish. It has nothing to do with real liberation. And I'm calling you out on the carpet, man. And men folk, you're a bunch of pussies. I saw some protesting signs that said, get away with Father's Day. I saw some guy walking around with like, the future is the female. I had to comment on this, guys. Serious. Where we live in a place where you can actually get an email from Amazon asking you to review the fucking pillow that you just got a couple weeks ago. No. I think we need to back off and really see what's going on. Put your energy into really assisting where people need to be assisted. We've got it quite good here. In fact, I heard one of my students drives from one of those driving places like Uber, Lyft or something, and a black woman got in the car and she was just rolling her eyes and like laughing. And he said, "What up?" And it was like it was the day after the election, and she says, "Oh my God, these two white women came up to me and hugged me and were crying and said they were sorry." Do you realize how insulting and bizarre that kind of thing is? And to get to the place that we're at where if you disagree with somebody, they're either racist, fascist, or xenophobe? Come on, man. That is not Americano. Like, serious. We all need to just raise it up a notch to be able to discuss and agree to disagree, or not even talk about it, or just let the people have their own opinion. But I'm afraid some of these generations have been radicalized to the point where they can't even see that they are raging fascists themselves. Now, I'm in a territory that I don't really like to hang in anymore, but I had to comment on this. And then the exclusion of other women if they're not like wanting to be flamboyant, so-called goddess worshipers. There's nothing goddess like that, what I was seeing the other day, Saturday. Showing everything, talking about everything, demanding everything, that has nothing to do with the sacred feminine. Nothing. Next journey that I'm going to start talking about is modesty and prudence, which we could use a big dose of. And I'm not talking about corsets and garter belts. I'm talking about modesty, the beauty, the multidimensionality of modesty, the fertile ground of that place. We have gone overboard. So I humbly ask you just to reflect on what's actually working. What's working here? You know, the time that we're like Captain America for the rest of the world is got to come to an end. Because if we don't take care of ourselves, we won't be the place that people want to come to. And if you secretly want that to happen, well, so be it. But I personally am grateful for where I live. And quite frankly, a lot of the masters, including Vivekananda, said how special the United States was. And he also was a nationalist for India, as was Gandhi. So let's just pull back and reflect. There was something to be said about borders and having some kind of protocol for people to come to places. Every other country has. We've gone overboard to now we're expected to just bleed out. And you know, as a hero, you cannot help someone else until you take care of your own shit. Our physiology is built that way. The heart itself, it feeds itself before it gets pumped out into the rest of the body. The truth is difficult. And how we go about it, that we can talk about. It can be done with grace, respect, and simplicity. It doesn't have to be outrageous and hateful and hurtful to other people. So I'm holding out. I'm waiting and seeing. But don't lose sight. It's the world. Like I keep saying in all these different Sundays, the world is the world. It will always be the world. But from where I humbly sit, I offer you, back the fuck up. There, I did the up word twice already. I'm working on it myself. Back up and reflect, ladies and gentlemen. Ladies, it would do you an amazing amount for your own healing to back off and to breathe a little bit, and menfolk to step up and stop lying to yourself that you're this nice guy so you can get laid. It's not attractive. So the excessive combat boot, angry righteous women, and the little pussyfied dudes, y'all need to back off and just reflect. And I need to get this dickhead off my body. Oh, I got a poem. And then I'm done. This is Hafiz. Salutations to our Sufi friends, which is the original heart of Islam. Again, thrown to the curb, tripping over joy. What is the difference between your experience of existence and that of a saint? The saint knows that the spiritual path is a sublime chess game with God, and that the beloved has just made such a fantastic move, that the saint is now continually tripping over joy and bursting out in laughter and saying, I surrender. Whereas, my dear, I'm afraid you still think you have 1,000 serious moves. From love, always, another day in paradise.